Hey there, Matt Scratch here with a video on why car guys hoard cars, why they have multiple projects without finishing one, that sort of thing. It's something I've been fairly guilty of in my life. I just wanted to go over my little collection. I have 11 cars currently, so I wanted to go over it with you and what each one means to me and why I feel the need to have that many cars and why, most of them are project cars, so why I choose that over having just one really nice car. I'm just going to show you the first three vehicles in the collection. I actually drove over to this building in this one. This is my daily driven 1990 Lincoln Town Car. It's a high mileage car I bought for $450, and I fixed it up a bit, and it's been one of the more reliable vehicles I've ever owned. This is my son's 1967 Meteor Rideau, which Meteor's a Canadian only brand, but it's similar to the Mercury lineup made by Ford. And this is my 79 Cadillac Eldorado, kind of my ultimate Cadillac. 350 V8, electronic fuel injection, front wheel drive, four-wheel independent suspension. This was a really advanced car at the time, and I guess that's kind of what gets me, and I love the iconic 70s styling. That's kind of where I'm at with part of my reasoning for the collection, is I can't pick a decade that I love more than the other. I can't pick a brand or a kind of car, so, and you'll see my collection gets even more diverse as we move along, and all that's really about for me is just kind of covering all my bases. If I just had one really nice car, it would leave me wanting for all the other kinds of cars. Just gonna head back to the main shop there. I'll just show you. Car guys often have parts cars laying around. I certainly like to, or do, end up having a lot of parts cars around. Here's another important member of the collection. This is my son's 89 Toyota Tercel. Now, I'm not the biggest Toyota fan, but it is a very big brand, and I was actually given the car for free, and I thought it would be nice to have some Toyota representation on our channel here. And it's a cute little car. I like it because it's just the notchback. It's not the hatchback like most of them are. I also have a Neon on the channel, if you watch it, that I used to plow snow with, and I daily drive and do a lot of things with. I off-road with it. So that one's another important part of my collection of cars. This is a parts vehicle. I have another truck like this in the shop that was actually my grandfather's, and it's been in the family since 1992. And it's a 88 Nissan. This is a 94, but same body style. This is my 2004 PT Cruiser. It's one of my more recent purchases, but I have been into PTs for a while. My parents are big into them. They have 3 of them. So I decided to get this one mostly for the channel. It's a high mileage car, and so I wanted to get it and just experience the high mileage PT life and see what problems we have and what solutions I come up with, because I like to do repair videos on it, but I also really enjoy driving it. Here's my dad's. It's the first one we ever got, and he's had it over 4 years. This is my 94 Lincoln Town Car, and I've had it for about 4 or 5 years. Really love these Lincolns. I've actually owned 3 of them. Like, it's the same as my 90, and then I had a 91 Cartier as well before. This is my most recent purchase, a 2001 Ford Super Duty 4x4. Because we do off-roading on the channel, I wanted to build this into our off-road truck. I bought this one for $300. I like low investment vehicles, and there's a lot of potential here for an off-roading truck. I just find low investment vehicles less stressful, and some of that is the basis of my collection too. They're vehicles that I can have fun with more than anything. This is my 1988 Nissan Pulsar NX, and I really love these little cars. Little front-wheel drive sports car from the 80s, and they are not fast, but they handle extremely well, and they're loads of fun to drive. And I actually have another one right back there for a parts car. That's an 87. And here I have my 1980 Lincoln Versailles. I really do like Lincolns. And this is kind of an iconic Lincoln because they were somewhat of a sales flop. They were, you know, when they were starting to downsize cars. And this was based on the Granada. Although there are a lot of differences from a Granada to a Versailles, the public didn't really see it like that, and they weren't willing to pay Lincoln pricing for what they saw as a Granada. As a result, these cars are really rare. Under these blankets, I'm not going to totally expose it, but this is my 1953 Buick Special. It's got a straight 8 in it, and it's just a downright cool car. It is a 4-door sedan, but I actually really like 4-door sedans. I'll just show you the front here because they've got the iconic front end on them. It's beautiful. It's iconic. It's got that toothy mouth there, and I love everything about it. I've seen so many old hot rods with these in them. You know, that was common to steal these from the Buick. And then it's also got the portholes in it. It's a 3-porthole Buick. And so for me, that's what it's about. It's about having something that's iconic, something that I remember worshipping basically since I was a little boy, and something I always dreamed about owning. And it's not about driving the cars for me. I've had a lot of people say, well, you can only drive one at once. Why do you need so many cars? Well, they're not to drive. They're to enjoy by looking at, by my awareness that I own them. Just, you know, I'm just proud of owning this car, and it means a lot to me to just sit here and stare at it. And that's what it's about for me. It doesn't have to be restored. It doesn't have to be running. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means. I can appreciate it in its current condition. You know, it's the whole, you know, history of it and the people that built it, the company that built it, and the way things were back then. You can see I've collected up a whole bunch of spare parts for it. And that's another thing I love. You know, I went and got those parts off of another Buick collector, another car collector. He showed me his collection of cars and told me a bunch of car stories, and we've kept in touch since. And that's part of the car hobby. A very big part of it is meeting other like-minded people and talking cars and really driving on that stuff. Under the blankets over there is another car, and all I'm going to say is it's a 1929 because it hasn't been revealed on the channel yet. Kind of a surprise, so we're just going to leave it at that. This, you can see how diverse my tastes are. This is a 1990 Nissan 240 SX. This is the 1988 Nissan pickup truck that I mentioned earlier, and my grandfather bought this in 1992, and you know, I was standing right next to him when he did. So there's a ton of memories there. It was also the first vehicle that I insured and drove. I shaved the tail lights, put in those custom marker lights there, fixed all the rust down this side of it, and some more patches on the cab there, and made this custom tailgate and roll pan. Yeah, there's a lot of memories here. I could never part with this truck. Inside here, I should have turned the other lights on, but that's my mom's 2006 PT Cruiser that I'm doing a full custom paint job for her, and that's all going to be shown on the channel. I rent this great big, basically a barn. I call it a shop, but it's more like an old barn. a plywood barn, and you know, I've got car parts just stacked everywhere. I'm one of those guys. Here's the front half of a PT Cruiser that we had for a parts car here. Now up here I have like a whole, some of these are new parts even for the PTs. We stock some stuff and parts that are off of projects. That's pretty well it. That's my collection, and that's my philosophy on it. I have owned a brand new car before. I did do that once. I bought one brand new, and I didn't have any troubles with it or anything, so it's not like I'm jaded against it. I actually quite enjoyed it, but I just really prefer old cars and having a whole bunch of cars. Like I say, they don't have to be perfect. The ones I drive aren't perfect either. They got, you know, rust on them, and they've got little quirks and defects, and that's part of what I love about them. You get used to the vehicle being an individual, being a little bit different than any other car on the road like it. Thanks a lot for watching Matt's Garage. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have yourself a great day.